I always like Monsters home games because when I leave work here, there's always tons of people in the street wearing their jerseys, headed to the game. I like to see that. Sometimes people give hockey short shrift, and they shouldn't. Monsters Griffins next Tuesday night. You get 4 tickets. Good luck. Call 207 or 800-348-1007.
He might have been just a voice man.
He's the man of 1,000 voices.
Greatest voice man that ever lived.
None of which will make you laugh.
But he never took a performance for granted.
Alan Cox.
On 100.7 WMMS.
I want to send a text 35192 to get me there. AlanCoxShow.com. You can easily watch the program if you like. Thank you so much to Gert Annandale for helping out back there in the video department. What is Gert short for? It's not Gertrude. Is it short for anything, or is that just the name?
Gertholomew.
Oh, Gertholomew.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like a name that gets stuck in your throat, but I like these names because I would like to think that at some point they'll take off. That at some point
Just
they
wait.
would,
Just gotta wait for the babies to get born, and people will use these names to name their children.
You think anybody goes through our past live streams when I would love nothing more than for somebody to, because it's got to be the dude who convinces his wife. There's not going to be a woman that's like, well, let's name our kid Gert. So there's got to be one of our, Gertholomew. I would love for there to be one of our male customers who convinces his spouse to grab one of our video assistants' names. I would just love that so much if that were the case.
It's better than a tattoo.
Just to go back through and see which name they like.
Just do a random one.
Let me pull one here randomly for you,
Yeah.
and then we'll suggest a name if you want to name your kid. Let me go back into 2022. Let me go to December the 5th of just this last year. Jimmy Capmeadow. Nah, that's too...
That's a little, see, sometimes the
you think
first
somebody,
name's regular.
I was going to say, you think somebody could convince their spouse to name their son Jimmy?
That's pretty likely.
All right. Well, I picked the wrong one then.
Yeah.
Let me go to something a bit more unconventional. Go to, well, we won't go that far back. Go to the 24th of January. Boxley with stanchion. Right? This is our son, Boxley.
Boxley's a great name. That's a strong name. Works for a boy or a girl. Love it.
You know, that is, as much as, it's interesting to me, as much as you have a contingent of the public who's constantly pissing and moaning about how people want to identify in modern life, those same people have no problem giving their child a name that is traditionally attached to the other sex, right? People love giving their daughter boys' names. You're setting them up for success. But Boxley, to Bill's point, works for a boy or a girl, right? People love having a little girl and naming her Charlie, or having a little boy and naming him Ruth. You know how many Ruth boys are out there now, right?
Yeah. You should go with 1/20/23.
Okay.
January 20th.
January 20th.
That's a good one.
Of this year. It's not far back. Let me go back to January the 20th. And who helped us out that day? Chani Fingerly. That's a great name.
That's a great name. Chani works for a boy or a girl, too.
Yeah, Chani.
Chani.
Now, I assume that's short for Jonathan.
Chonald.
Oh, Chonald. You know, when I think I'm in a zig, I zag, and that's on me.
Let's go way back. Let's get way back. Let's try and find some. I'm going to go all the way back to 2021. It's going to take me a minute because we have to load all this crap. All right, we're going. Loading. All right, I'm not going to go that far back because it's taking too long. But We're going to go July 12th, 2022.
Last summer.
Jalonica.
Yeah.
Gorbs Metal.
Yeah, I like Jalonica.
Jalonica Gorbs Metal.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful, beautiful name for a young strapping
There's
boy.
something melodic about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, never forget Jalonica Gorbs Metal, of course, former Cleveland Cavalier. Was a power forward in the mid-'70s. Hey, your Cavaliers are back on the hardwood. Is that what the kids are calling it? Back on the hardwood?
Yeah.
In Boston tomorrow night.
I love saying that.
Where do the Celtics play? The TD Arena? Or
Yeah, TD Bank Center Arena Garden.
Something, sure. Cavs Celtics tomorrow night. It's a 7:30 tip-off in Boston and here on WMMS. 7 o'clock is when Cavs Live pregame will begin. And then they're back here at home on Saturday night to play the lowly Detroit Pistons. Of course, one night prior, that'd be Friday, March the 3rd, we will be preempted for Guardians baseball. We won't be here on Friday, but young Bill Squire will be headed out to Warren, Ohio to entertain the troops. You being the troops.
Yes, not the... I mean, if you are a troop, come on out.
Yep.
But you can get tickets by going to billsquire.com. Julia Mary's going to be hosting the show. She's a very, very funny comic from Cleveland. And Michael Copenhaver is going to be featured. So check out that show. Get tickets.
That sounds like somebody helping out.
I know it does.
Michael Copenhaver.
Copenhaver, I believe.
Copenhaver?
Yeah. I think that's his name, right?
Hey, Richard.
Yeah, Copenhaver.
Hey, Alan.
Hi.
Hey, you all are talking about weird kids' names. My sister, 6 years ago, named her damn kid Cogswell Everett.
I love that. That's a great name. Cogswell's a great name.
What do they call him?
Coggy.
We call him Cogswell because she's a huge Jetsons fan. So she named her damn kid Cogswell Everett.
W.C. Cogswell. Yeah, Cogswell's Cogs, right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Man.
Poor kid gets his ass handed to him daily in school.
She didn't want to name him Jetson? Jetson Everett?
No.
Yeah, Cogswell.
Of all the Jetson characters to name someone after, like, not Elroy.
Elroy, yeah.
Cogswell.
Cogswell. Well,
Cogswell
listen.
was a jerk, too.
Well, her meaning was he's a shrewd businessman. And he's better than Spacely Sprocket, so that's why she named him Cogswell.
I don't know what kind of businessman your toddler is going to be.
6 years old.
That's
Right?
really putting a lot of pressure on this kid. You're going to be...
She's one of these new age parents that believe her kid she's a free range parent, as she puts it. Meaning she lets her kid do whatever the hell he wants to do. And
she's one that gets the kid into the tea place, and then the tea place goes, "Oh, we can't be having 6-year-olds in here anymore.
We're putting a ban on all Cogswells coming in here because they just can't control themselves." And yeah, free range parenting. I love it. That's a great way to just divest yourself of any responsibility in the arena of... Okay, thank you, Richard. There's Richard, who's got a nephew named Cogswell. We've been watching this show called The Parent Test. Anybody seen this show up on their... we stumbled into it. I think it's
I've not heard of this one.
ABC network show. It will only appeal to parents. But it's Allie Wentworth, who's married to George Stephanopoulos. She's a comedian and a writer, and it's her and this... pediatric behavioral psychologist or whatever, and they sit there and they have about a dozen pairs of parents from around the country who have different styles. So there's free-range parents, there's hippie parents, there's like the Asian tiger mom and tiger dad parents. And then they kind of not pit them against each other because it's a decidedly kind of supportive show. It's really not very clickbaity. It's a very interesting show. I mean, for if you're a parent, it might be worth kind of peering in on this show. Because I thought it was going to be really like them screaming at each other about how they're screwing up their kids. It's not like that at all. There's disagreements here and there, but everybody's kind of like along for the ride. It's very interesting. It's called The Parent Test.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So is it showing that, like, the hippie style, maybe they're more empathetic, or in the,
Yeah, there's a lot of B-roll of like, because they'll give the parents challenges. They'll be like, okay, have your child do something that they don't want to do. And how do you nudge them in the direction of doing something that maybe they're frightened of or scared of? There's another one where it's like role reversal. Like today, you'll be the parents and we'll be the kids, to see how the kids, some of it's predictable, like the little girl who has the tiger mom and dad. The day that she gets to kind of have free reign, she goes bananas.
Yeah.
Because she's tired of violin practice at 3 years old or whatever. So, but it's an interesting show.
Do they have a control group of just like a regular, like beat down, tired mom and dad that have both worked 8 hours or 10 hours a day? And they get home and they just, like latchkey type kid situation. That's what they need in that show to really even out the study.
No, they have a Mormon couple, a black guy.
Black Mormon.
Black Mormon, and his wife, who's white. So they have biracial kids. I think the wife's really cute. She's got kind of a Gwen Stefani vibe. But everybody on the show, like there's nobody that really jumps out at you as being a pain in the ass. It's just everybody kind of trying to do their best, and they have their own idea of how things should go. There's a single gay dad who's black who has the issue of trying to raise his son. The dad is single and black and gay, and he's like, I have a whole different set of concerns raising my son than white parents would have. It's a very interesting show.
I feel that.
Yeah. So it's called The Parent Test for people who haven't seen it.
I'm black and I'm gay.
That's right. Do the Browns really want a new stadium? Yeah. I was reading that the Browns want a new stadium. The team is denying that that's the case, but I think that they just don't want the initial outcry from the people who will be left holding the bag, which is us. They have a lot of balls asking for a new stadium. And they're like, well, First Energy Stadium was slapped together so quickly because they wanted to get it up and ready. It's like, that ain't our fault. Aren't people probably still, first of all, anybody who owns a team has just ginormous balls asking a city to foot the bill for a new stadium. Because they give you all that claptrap about how it's, beneficial. And yeah, there's a revenue base there. But it's never as promised or as advertised. Justin Bibb, of course, the mayor of Cleveland, he's very big on community input. I would imagine he's a guy where new stadium for the football team is probably almost dead last on his priority list.
I would love that if we were going to pay for it, we get to name it too. No sponsored name rights. The people of Cleveland get to name it. So coming
Cogswell.
Soon, yeah, Cogswell. The new Stadium McStadium face. Coming soon to Cleveland, Ohio.
Live from Cleveland, Ohio tonight, the Cleveland Browns at the Stadium McStadium face, chosen as the site of the 2032 Super Bowl.
It would be nice if they made these stadiums in a way that they're functional for certain aspects on a daily basis.
Multi-purpose.
Yes, multi-purpose. If they could incorporate certain things so that they be used every day rather than just sitting empty all the time.
They do concerts sometimes.
Yeah, concerts
sometimes.
But I'm talking about like if it's in like enclosed stadium, have aspects of it that can be used by the people that are paying for it on a daily basis. I don't think that's
they don't want us using it. They just want us paying for it.
Oh, I know, but that's what I'm saying. If they were to do so,
that's why a dome is a good idea.
Yeah, do a dome and make it have some aspects that people that live in Cleveland can use it on a regular basis, on a daily basis, whether it's some sort of like indoor workout facility, something. I don't know what exactly would fit into it or what would work in it, but I think there's a way to make it not just this giant structure that's only used for these big events.
Well, but when the team's lease with First Energy Stadium ends in 2028, so they're trying to get ahead of this, right? But especially in a place like Cleveland, this is very triggering for a lot of people because it's a city that already had the team leave one time. Mm-hmm. So that's always the threat, is they're like, we'll take the team. And it's like, man, you think another city's going to want the Cleveland Browns?
A team would take it. Another city
Yeah,
would take
I
him in
mean,
a second.
Des Moines, Iowa, but I mean, not a market like Cleveland. So the Haslams, who just bought the Milwaukee Bucks, or have a majority stake in it, by the way, they go to the city, hat in hand. They're like, hey, sell us some land. And Justin Bibb was like, no, because obviously he understands, and anyone running a city should understand that it's always on the backs of the taxpayers. But they're saying that the lines of communication are still open, but the people in charge over there, the Browns, are denying those initial reports. But of course they're saying that. We want a new stadium. Put it smack dab in the middle of Parma. How about that?
Oh my gosh, they're gonna get. I don't even know why we're going through this. They're gonna get what they want. Like,
Not always.
Yes, they are. Yes,
Why?
Always.
Not
Because-
always. There have been
yes.
plenty of cities like, no, we're not doing that.
Well, Cleveland's not one of those cities. They're gonna
Well,
get what they want.
Cleveland is, the people of Cleveland are already paying 3 or 4 venues ago.
Who
We're
cares?
We're
Who
still, because there's only so much money to go around.
No, there's not.
You can only, taxpayers?
Not for a corporation who wants what they want and they don't care.
What
Since
corporation? They're not footing the bill. They're asking taxpayers to do it.
Exactly.
We're still paying for the Romo Fijo.
But I'm
You can
asking
only
you,
you can only soak people for so much, especially in a place that's kind of downtrodden like Cleveland, Ohio.
But
This isn't New York City.
the Browns or the Haslams or whatever are not asking them for so much. They're asking you this time. Since when, if you're a corporation and you're trying to make money and there's an opportunity to get something you want paid for, you think they're going to be like, oh, no, they already paid for Romo Fijo. They already paid for this and that. No, they're going to see what they can get away with, and they'll get away with
the
it.
company will. Right. No one's denying that. The company will want it all paid for by other people. That's how you stay a billionaire. You get other people to pay for your interests. But the mayor of Cleveland, city council members and things like that, they can't go back to the people ad nauseum and go, well, guys.
Yes, they can. And they will.
They can.
They will.
But there's plenty of times where the city goes, nope. So that's why the threat is we'll take the team elsewhere. If everybody got what they wanted all the time, there would be no instances of teams defecting to other cities.
The team brings in too much money to the city.
Well,
Win or lose.
that's the argument that they'll make.
And they'll win. Because it's true.
But again, any project in any city, it's dereliction of duty if you're someone in city management and you're not taking the interests of the taxpayers into account. You can't just grease up and grab ankle. Justin Bibb is not Frank Jackson.
It's not even
That's
about
why he
that.
was elected. It is.
It's not about
It
that.
has to do with who's running the city and what they're willing to do. And that's why I said a guy like Justin Bibb, young dude, he's got a vision for the city. I don't precisely know what that is, but he doesn't strike me as a guy who's going to just bend over and grease up.
No, but he seems like the type of guy to be practical and know the cost-benefit analysis of keeping the Browns here and keeping them happy.
But there's
or-
you have to balance the practicality with the feasibility of a project like that. And you can't. People are going to be paying for the Romo Fijo for the next 15 years.
Also,
and you can't go to them.
Progressive Field is doing a bunch of updates too that are taxpayer funded.
Yes. So what is every team going to go? We're going to decamp to another city. We're going to be the Tampa
it's gonna be
Guardians.
here.
I mean, huh?
It's going to be here because they look at it as, oh, this is going to pay for itself.
But it's not going to pay for itself.
But no matter
We're going
how-
to pay for it.
But I understand that. But they're saying it brings in more business and more hype around the city. However,
But it never does.
how miserable
Is Cleveland been hyped? Are people flocking to Cleveland? Do people flock anywhere because there's a brand new sports venue?
I mean,
you might get big playoff events and things.
But however miserable you think Cleveland is now, it would be even worse if there wasn't anything here. So
what
that's why
happened? Well, there's a difference between there isn't anything here and you're down a team.
But you look at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, and that is a stadium that they use for multiple events, and it's used much more often than just for football games because it
Minneapolis, they've got a thing up there.
So I think if you're doing one of a stadium like that, it can be beneficial, but those also cost so much money to build.
I'm not saying there aren't benefits, but
Alan, I really think, and I love you for this because you really think that this all lies on Justin Bibb's shoulders, and it doesn't. This is a lot of hands.
What of what I said did you get from that? No, it doesn't all lie on his shoulders. That's my point, is that he's not the guy that's making the decision, but he is a decision maker.
Okay.
There's no city where the mayor of the city gets shut out. Trust me, I'm as cynical as they come. But there's only a finite amount of tax revenue that you can soak the people for. And even if even if people vote it down, because what happens a lot is people will vote that kind of crap down, and the city will just go, well, we're going to do it anyway.
Yep.
But you can only do that so many times. You can only do that so many times.
Or what?
And Justin Bibb would probably like to get reelected as mayor of Cleveland. So you can only go to the people so many times and go, guys, listen, there's going to be more, what do they call them? Luxury taxes on whatever,
And that's what I'm saying. Yes, he would like to get reelected, but if he doesn't, they still get their stadium. So his hands are tied and he can only do so much. But I get what you're saying, but I think in this type of situation, a corporation's always going to win. It sucks, but it's big bank, take little bank.
Well, corporations don't always win. That's why sometimes they go, well, we're going to take the team then. And they go, okay, good luck. Hasta la vista. You're not going to become a winning team because you go to another city. No, I shouldn't say that.
Actually.
The Baltimore Ravens actually. But that wasn't because Baltimore was a better city. That was more market forces at work. But anyway, Jimmy Haslam bought 25% of the Bucs. Oh, I thought he bought a controlling interest in the Bucs. I thought he had like 51% or something. Okay, well, anyway, he's got a big chunk of the Bucs now. I've got a break here. If you want to send a text, 35192, AlanCoxShow.com if you want to see our shining faces. And listen wherever on the iHeartRadio app.
Buzzard Radio.
The Buzzard.